Hello and welcome to Drive Facebook Live. I'm Tony Whistler. This is my good friend Bill Escalillo. Hey Bill, how's it
Great to
going?
see you, Tony.
Good to see you, my friend. We have a great show today. We have Todd Zurn, one of our consultants here at Drive, and we have Jimmy Holman of Earhart's Collision. We're going to talk a little bit about a program we have here called Owner2Owner. Jimmy, why don't you say hi to everybody? Tell them a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your shop, and you just give them a feel for what you're all about.
Sure. Glad to be here. Thanks for letting this happen. Um, I started in the collision industry as a student at a technical college because I didn't know what else I wanted to do with my life in 1982 and worked in the shops till 1996, where I went to work as an estimator for State Farm.
Mm,
Was there for 22 years, and then through a relocation opportunity, I just chose not to, and Earhart's decided to go ahead and hire me here and not let me move out of town anyway. So I've been here about 7 years now. And through that process, we did start a general repair also, because the insurance companies would pay off of an invoice from anybody else but you. And so it's like, okay, well, let's just open up a business that's mechanical and get the pie on both sides of the business.
mm, very cool. And Todd, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Tony. For sure. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm really happy that you are. So tell us a little bit about why you're here today.
Yeah, first of all, I'm excited. We're going to be talking about the owner to owner and what we've got going on with that. A little bit of my background for us. I've been with the company now for probably about a year, right? And I've been consulting prior to that. So I've got a huge passion for engines, cars, mechanical side of things for quite some time. I've been building engines since I was probably 11 or 12 years old in the garage with my dad as he was a mechanic. So for me, this has been a passion of mine. So coming on board here has been something really exciting for me because I get to actually consult in the actual world that I enjoy. So it's been really cool.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about the owner to owner program. What is that all about?
Yeah, it's a really good program that it has the ability to get quite a few owners together in which we all talk about, whether it be, one certain topic that we want to discuss or, whether it's something that's happening in, what's going on in today's market, right? It's really and truly the ability to find out what's happening from the people that are in the trenches that are actually working, whether you have issues that you're working on, problems that you're solving, or you're just listening to find out what are other happening out there, right? So, it's really the ability to learn from each other, give feedback and advice from each other, and really take something from it. When honestly, it's you get more opportunity from more clients out there than you do just kind of the one-on-one coaching that we have. So in this case, it's really and truly a great opportunity for the shops to jump in there and understand what other shops are doing.
Very cool.
That's
Bill, you got
fantastic.
anything?
It almost sounds a lot like, you guys are really going over best practices and stuff like that. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, right? That's kind of the
Yeah.
idea, right? So we'll have a general idea of a topic that we may want to talk about at that point in time. But the way it kind of sets up, it starts to almost have a nice even flow with the way the conversations go, because we may have a topic or maybe something that another shop brings up as a topic or an issue that they're running into. The next thing you know is that you have multiple shops giving advice, talking about their experience, talking about what has or hasn't happened to them, even some of the failures that they've had, right? And it's always awesome for other shops to learn from other shops' failures versus the idea of going out and failing themselves, right? So it's an opportunity along the way to just learn from everybody out there.
That's great. Hey, Jimmy, so how long have you been part of the owner to owner meeting?
Roxanne and Carla came to me with it, and actually came through our top 20 group for collision. It's been at least 2 years now. I've pretty much since they started it. And our membership, and once a month they get together, and it runs between 10 to 20 people a month. We just never know who all's coming. If everybody was there at one time that's been on it, it probably closer to 30 groups, 30 shops. But yeah, right along there with Todd, it's pretty much driven both topics they've already come to, but they certainly open the floor to see if anybody has a concern. and none of us are scared to be able to talk to honestly to the other people's about whatever those concerns are with good or bad criticism.
Right.
Pretty
So
awesome.
I'm guessing you've been on both sides of that. Like maybe you were in a meeting where you needed some help from others, and maybe you were in a meeting where you offered good advice, because I'm sure that's the way it goes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's many times where we'll hit a topic that somebody will bring up if it's not already being talked about. And most often all of us are either dealing with that same topic or have dealt with it. Um, and I don't anyway, myself and Kevin Reichelt's in it as well. And everybody knows that he's right there on the topics of anything that's about business. But if there's something that they're talking about that just isn't going to work, we have no problem saying you need to find a better way,
Yeah.
or look at it from this viewpoint, and then look back at your own situation to see if that's really how you want to handle it.
Yeah. That's great. That goes to that classic peer-to-peer, vibe.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Jimmy, if I could ask, what was your preconception of what owner to owner would have been like before you went into it? Now that you've been with it, what was the differences, and if somebody was going to get involved with it, what should they expect?
I think you get out of it what you put in it. If you're just going to show up and listen, you'll get some stuff out of it, but you have your own needs, and concerns and advice, um, that can contribute to the whole group, but you have to be willing to take it off the mute and raise your hand and whatever else you need to do to get their attention, or just butt in. But yeah, the more it's talked about with everybody in the group, it clearly gets to different and more fine-tuned points of the topic at hand.
Yeah. We're all about the butting in process. That always is the easiest way to make it work. You just chime in, man.
And it's not all
Yeah,
business. We have a
don't be
lot of fun
afraid.
too. We have a lot of fun too. And I mean, I almost always do it when there's one of the funnest parts about it is when new members, not only to drive, but especially to the owner to owner, get on and have no clue about what it's about. Um, and the encouragement that's there for the new members, especially new drive members, is huge. Um, and all of us are very willing to give them our story of where we started with drive, how it's ended up where we're at now, just to give them that hope that they're doing the right move.
Yeah. Very cool. So any other thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I love what Jimmy's saying here, because it is one of those things where the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, right? And for new people that show up, they may have a little, they may be a little scared to jump in and start sharing right away. However, the way the group is and the way that it's built out, these guys have been together for long enough to where they're not afraid to share at any point in time, and it makes new people coming in feel comfortable and open up a lot sooner than just if the group itself didn't share, and they start seeing it from sharing from multiple different shops, not just a couple of the shops that are in there. So what's been built out so far, it really does look like almost like a camaraderie. There's the ability to hold each other a little bit more accountable than just having what you would normally do on there, because everybody's there, everybody's sharing. And when you break down those walls, all of a sudden you're a lot more willing to, I'll say, give advice and take it at the same time. So it becomes really and truly a nice give and take. So I love what you're saying, Jimmy. It is exactly how it's supposed to go in there.
That's fantastic. If I can take a quick minute, we have a shout out. We got Brittany watching. We got Will over in Pennsylvania saying hello to everybody. And Todd, I'd love to ask you, how did you get approached to take over owner to owner when the opportunity came up?
It's a really good question. So, one of the things that we offer here is some of the group coaching and things like that as well, in which, I've had an opportunity to be part of those as well. So you see how that interaction happens, how shops talk back and forth, whether it be our action coaching workshops, some of the group coaching sessions or anything like that. For me, the opportunity to jump in there and see and help facilitate that was exciting for me. So, when we had a shift in our coaching and the person who was facilitating that happened, I immediately wanted to volunteer because I love the idea of multiple shops working with each other. It really does get a higher ROI on pretty much everything that they're doing when you actually have multiple shops giving feedback like that. So for me, I love being part and being in the middle and helping facilitate that. So I was right away, hands up, here I come.
Awesome. Is it just that you guys just decide we're going to get together, we're going to open up a Zoom meeting, or if we were doing it, physically, we'd be sitting in a room somewhere, everyone's talking, and you just throwing ideas out? Or do you do any kind of prep work prior to each event, like each meeting? Do you spend some time, Todd, as like the ringleader or maybe the lion tamer? I don't know what to call you, but
We would consider Todd a lion tamer. Yes, I think that would be
We'll
the
go
good
with that.
way.
We'll go with
That would
either
be a
one of
good way
them.
to describe Todd. Yes.
Yep. There's always a little bit of research before we go into any one of the group sessions, right? Because, whether it's owner to owner or anything like that, we want to take, and one of the things I do is I'll take a kind of a tally of what's happening with all the shops that I'm in. We'll listen to what's happening with all the other coaches in the shops that they have going on, and just get a real good understanding of what are some of the issues and some of the problems that might be most prevalent right now. And then those will be some of the topics that you'll want to bring up to see how are the other shops handling some of those. And what ends up happening, it turns into a really natural, conversation that ends up going back and forth, where people end up adding certain things, seeing certain problems that they have, and then you end up getting 5 or 10 different solutions for one of your problems because everybody's adding into it. So there's always something that you go in with a little bit of a topic, but even that might switch, and we might not even talk about that topic because, from the people in the group, they may have found another topic that's more important to them right now for that specific group. So now we're going to start focusing on that. We'll keep the other topic on the back burner until the next week or until the next month.
that's great. I have one more question for Jimmy. Does it help at all to know that if you're running into a problem that you can't solve, that you're talking to others who have had the problem and actually were able to solve it? Does that alone help you to get that thing under control, or do you need them to tell you what to do on, obviously that would happen too, but does it help at all that you just know that, hey, this person had that problem and they fixed it, and so that means it's actually fixable?
Oh, it absolutely helps to know that you're not on an island with what you may think is your own problem. But more often than not, there's 80% of what comes up in a meeting, whether it's staff generated or member generated, we've all been there and have had different levels of that same issue or same topic to deal with. Um, I regularly, basically monthly, anytime there's somebody new for sure. I know Kevin does it too. We put our phone numbers and email addresses in the chat so that they can feel comfortable reaching out, and some of them do. But more importantly, I've got, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 different shops that I have on my phone that I know I can call with an issue, even if it's not related to me personally. Um, we have heavy truck, we have diesel specific shops. I'm collision and mechanical, but very, very geared towards collision than more so than mechanical. So I have way more mechanical questions and issues pop up that I'm just not very familiar with through that process. But it's a very wide range of work. One's a heavy equipment shop, so there's all kinds of people that out there help towing. I mean, it's just a well-rounded group when it comes to anything motorhead.
Very cool. Now, there was a question. Just to confirm, you guys do this once a month, right? And it's about an hour long, or is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. It's
Okay,
about an
so
hour
then,
long.
so for the people who are clients of Drive, you can go to our client portal and go to our calendar registration, or registration calendar, excuse me, and you can find it there. Now, to make it easier to find inside the calendar, it's usually like a lot of these type of things are on like the third Wednesday or the second Thursday. When does it fall within the month?
It's the second Tuesday of every month. So we
Very
have it set up
nice.
at the second Tuesday
Very
of every
cool.
single month.
Good. So if you go into the client portal, go to the registration calendar, look at the second Tuesday of every month, you'll see it in there, and then you can sign up for it. So
Now,
Is there a
ask your-
process to get selected, Todd? Like, is there a vetting process in case somebody, who wants to get involved with this? Like Tony was just saying, they can go in there and get into their portal, but is there something that they have to do to be vetted out, or is it, like again, a
like,
members only jacket or something? Do they need something like
yeah,
that?
Not at this time that we've set up in there. I know that we've got quite a few people that have joined over the last little bit that you're not vetted to make sure that you're at certain levels or anything else. the idea is it's a great group to jump into to get help, right? And so as part of getting extra coaching, it's a great way that you're not getting coaching individually, you're getting it from, people that are out there, other shops that are physically doing it, right? And it's a group that, I'll say for the most part, from what I understand, right? A group without judgment, right? Get support without judgment. There might be a little bit on the
Right.
back end somewhere in there, but overall, for the most part, you can pretty much bring anything to the table. You might have a couple of people throwing little shots at you for some fun, but overall, it's definitely something where the idea is you should be able to share, and everyone's there to basically help you out without any prejudgment on anything that you're doing.
Very cool. Now it looks like we have Ron Parrish of Toe Force watching. So that's cool. Now, do you guys have, you had mentioned, Jimmy, slightly that there might be like a tow company in the group as well, or?
Yeah, we've had one that was strictly tow there quite a few times, and quite a few of them that have tow along with their mechanical or collision
Mhm.
business. I know Kevin's got that as well from
Yeah.
Stellar Garage. But and the other thing that I really enjoy about it and have enjoyed about it through this time period is that you're used to the weekly meetings with your consultant, but like in my group, I have Roxanne and Carla doing it as well. So you get a different taste from a couple different consultants that are in these meetings as well, throwing out their own ideas. And love listening to the stories from the people that are being consulted by both of them on what a bulldog Carla is about getting their stuff done.
She
But
has a
yeah,
ruler with your
yeah,
Yes, she
knuckles
does.
on it.
Just like in the Blues Brothers, right?
yeah.
Got to make the Blues Brothers reference. I love it.
Have to. Come on, classic. You have to.
So Todd, when is the next one going to be? So like the date of the next one, so we can let everybody know if they want to come.
It's this upcoming Tuesday, actually. So this
Oh, so
coming Tuesday will be the next one. That is the second Tuesday of this month. And I would take a look at the timing. I believe it is at 12:30 Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. I'll take a look though.
I'm gonna go to Jimmy right now. He's gonna remember what time he goes. What time do you go, Jimmy?
Ours is on a Monday at noon.
No,
Oh,
yep.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So that's two. Okay, very good. So, and also, I think it's time for a station break. What do you think, Bill?
It is, as a matter of fact, next week we are going to have an episode that probably a lot of shop owners aren't going to want to miss. We're going to be talking to Rich Willis, and he has a shop called Driven Diagnostics, and he does a really great job. And he specializes in not only diesel but also fleet work. Fleet work, as you well know, a lot of shops try to get that to help supplement, some of their car count and all that. So he'll be going over all those kinds of things. So I think that's going to be one that you're not going to want to miss, and you're going to want to hear how he got all that fleet work coming into his shop. Also, April 29th, we have the webinar with Phil Purnell and Will Snyder. And they're
Phil
going to
and
go
Will
over.
show.
What's that? The Phil and Will show, as a matter of fact. Yes, it's almost like the Tony and Bill show, but not the same. No. And they're going to be going over some new exciting products for marketing. Everybody out there, all shops always have a car count concern, and they're going to be bringing some really exciting products to the table. And last but not least, September 24th through the 26th, it's Vegas again, baby. Expo. Registration's open at the Drive website. It's a good time to start getting your room booked, start getting everything organized. And that will be great to get everybody there.
Very cool.
Rich is in our owner group, and he's a very, very good member to have. He's always got some words of wisdom, and he definitely it's been fun listening to his process, because he's had to, or not had to, but he did have to. He had to literally start wiping people out and bringing new people in, because his culture was started to turn. And
not like with like the mafia. You don't like.
No. Just had to move
No.
some people out.
Nobody
that
sleeping
weren't
with the
okay, good. I was
fishies.
worried.
No sleeping with the fishies. No.
I was a little scared there for a second. Sorry.
But he's made a really, really big turnaround with the moves he's made. And that's a scary situation to have to get rid of a known entity that does do a lot of good, but when they're cancer, it's still that cancer comes up a lot, to where if you've got
Yes.
somebody that you just don't know how to handle with, and man, if they don't fire themselves, you got to get rid of them, because they certainly will drag down
They
the
can pull
tone of the
down the
shop.
entire shop fast.
So we talked a
Absolutely.
lot about that.
Yeah.
Look, it
Actually,
looks like. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
oh, sorry. I was gonna say, Tony, we have a unique thing happening today. It looks like John Ross, today is his birthday. He is 37 years old. We don't get that too often during the show.
No. So,
Happy
Bill, are you going to
birthday.
sing happy birthday? No, that's not.
Yeah, right.
You don't want Bill
Happy
singing.
birthday,
And that
John.
was me in third person. You do not want him singing. I can promise you with 100% certainty.
So good.
You
Um,
know, Todd, real quick, if I remember correctly, Tuesdays owner to owner should be at 2 p.m. Pacific, correct?
Correct. Yep. April 13th at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what
and
I
it's
thought. Yeah.
it's under the category of networking. I'm almost 100% certain of that. So if you're
It
on the
is.
calendar,
Yes. Yes.
you can filter by all the actual events on the calendar, or you can filter by different categories like master workshops or action workshops. Even group coaching is in there, and you can also find networking. And if you're looking for this, it's under networking.
Yeah, it's right on that drop down in the middle of the top of the calendar, and that's how you filter it.
Right. And for our friends who love our show in Singapore, they're just waiting now for us to get through that little detail until we get to the good stuff. So um, now we talked a little bit about the fact that we have an expo coming up. Is there any plan, Todd, for you to get the owner to owner guys together at the expo for like maybe a cocktail to hour or something like that? Do you have any plans to do something like that at the expo?
That is so. I love that you're asking that question, because one of the things at the expo is obviously networking is one of the biggest things that people love to do. So anytime we can get everybody together, whether it be coffee, drinks, lunch, breakfast, whatever it is, yeah. So at the expo, there definitely will be a time where we want to get everybody together. Make sure people are meeting face to face, get a good opportunity to really and truly shake hands and talk to some of the other people that are in the group, not just virtually. So yeah, that's one of the things that's on the plan for sure.
Very good. Very good. Any other thoughts?
Well, my question for Jimmy would be is, you've been in the group since pretty much the beginning and how it started here. You've probably seen some changes kind of as it's kind of moved through. What do you think is kind of the biggest thing that keeps you coming back to that owner to owner every single time, just from a personal level?
Giving back. Um, I I tell my guys, I'm very blessed with a very young crew in the collision shop, more so than most of the shops in my area. And that comes with problems too that you got to coach through, which is normal. But I'm very glad to be on my end of the business career versus theirs, because it is not getting easier to do this job. And the insurance companies are definitely not making it any easier or profitable.
Right.
So, and I've been talking for 5 years or better that the closer I get to starting the countdown clock here soon, that's what I want to do, whether it be a local level. Maybe even talk to the wife about trying to get a hold of a situation where I can help out with drive as a mentorship, coaching, whatever, after I do retire from here. This career has been very good to me. Because I have a very wide background from school to 19 years in the shop, working from every position in the shop, and then 22 years in the insurance side of things, and then coming back to a shop after that. I I I have a pretty good feel of what's going on in this industry and what should change. Not that I have the ability to change it, uh, but more importantly, there's a lot of advice that I want to get back. We have a technical school here locally that does both mechanical teaching and collision, and they have 2 classes a day for 3 hours a day, and they have one teacher trying to teach 25 kids uh, each of those classes, and it's just impossible. So at the very least, I'm going to do some volunteering down there to help. The mechanical side, you can go to all data and other areas and get any step and every step of any situation on how to do it. You need to change a water pump, you just go look it up. It tells you. You go look at a dent in the car, there's nothing that tells you how to do that. That's hands-on experience, hands-on knowledge that people are willing to give. you can only teach so much out of a book on the collision side. It has to be out in the shop working. And
Yeah.
they're lucky to get 4 or 5 people out of the 25 a year that actually want to get into the field.
Yeah.
So I'm a
Well, that's
huge believer
honorable.
in growing our tech.
Yeah. That's very honorable because that is, education is always a very honorable profession. And if you're going to do that in retirement, that's just wonderful. Um, I certainly would love to have you help us out here as well. It would be wonderful to have you as part of the team because you are such a specialist in collision. I'd love to have you, man. So yeah,
It's being talked about, and I've talked to my coach Cassandra about it too. And it's just the timing's got to be right, and when I have more time, and
Mhm.
I'm working to get to that point where I can find somebody that will do more of my job here and not be here all day long every day
Right.
to be able to do that kind of stuff and start working into it.
Yeah.
Talk about a fantastic way to get the experience level up of the people, the younger crowd that's up and coming into the shops, you know. That is always one of the biggest problems that any shop almost ever has. It's they want to hire younger people to get the longevity, but then they don't have the experience and they got to try to balance it with the education. You know,
Yeah.
the hands-on, the book stuff, like, like you said, you can go into the book all day long and the book's great, but what happens in real life is not the same thing. And when you start to teach the experience portion of it, it really makes what they learned in school click.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately,
that's the critical glue that puts it together.
right now, unfortunately, this is the best and worst thing about teaching because I'm selfishly on the board at both the collision center, at the skill source, and at the college for the mechanical class. It's a good buddy of mine that runs a mechanical program. So that if I need somebody, I know who's doing what and where. And I have 4 out of my 7 techs that are here right now that went through the collision course. My painter's 21 years old, making 80,000 a year at 21 years old because
Love it.
he was good. And I hired him as a prepper and said, just pay your dues, just hang out, because sooner or later this guy I've got now is going to fire himself, and he did. And I said, here you go, let's roll. Now there was some growing pains with that, but he's doing fantastic now. And like I said, I'm a firm believer, if we don't grow our own techs, we're not going to have any.
Yeah. And I love the success story. I can't imagine what I would have been doing at 21, making that kind of money.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to remind him that.
you need that mentoring too of like, hey, you're still young.
Yeah.
Get him into the fundamentals of wealth master workshop and get him to see how he should be where he should be placing his money and what he should be doing with it now while he's still young, so he can, what is it? Make your plans so that you can retire early,
Yeah. Well, he's
But
got a
yeah,
fiance without a ring, basically, and they're saving money to buy a house. So he knows he's got to do what he's got to do and make it work for a long, long time. And had to beat out some bad habits with him and get that in.
Yeah, the objective at 21 is usually to have enough money at the end of the weekend so you can eat before the next paycheck shows up.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's not a plan.
But you have to understand, when Bill says that, you have to realize that Bill is a working musician too. So probably when he was
Yeah,
21, that's what he was
so
doing.
I'm always
for a living.
hungry.
The biggest thing with him is just with any of them is the safety side of things, because there's not a lot of old painters, let alone body techs in the industry. And that's because they didn't take care of themselves 20 years ago. This stuff will kill you if you're not taking care of yourself with the right material and protective products and equipment. The shop personally bought a fresh air system for the paint booth and painters so that we don't have to worry about a filter situation because it's fresh air all the time.
Oh, that's great.
It's just,
Yeah, back in the day, PPE you thought somebody was saying PPG wrong.
yeah. Yeah.
But is it still required when they're painting? I mean, it sounds like
Oh yeah.
they still wear masks, right? Like,
yeah, it's a fold down shield that seals around the bottom, and a filtered backpack battery operated pump that forces air into the backside of the shield, so the air hits your face and comes out the sides. There's no sucking air in around the mask anymore because it's all pressurized through the filter.
beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So you're like, they're like stormtroopers with paint guns.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, they could be walking on the moon.
Exactly. Hey, I cannot believe we're already at the end of the show, guys.
Oh, this
Well,
happens
good.
every episode.
Every time I look up
Oh.
and it's already time to say goodbye.
God, it goes
So
by
any
so fast,
any
especially with
final
great guests.
yes, exactly. Any final thoughts from either of you?
For me, I just honestly thank you, Jimmy. It's people like you that come into owner to owner and really make it work, right? The guy who wants to jump in and really help out others that are in there. We've got a whole bunch of shops in there that are doing that. And it's people like you in your shop that are doing that. So really appreciate you coming into owner to owner like that. It's awesome. Good having you in there.
Well, thank
Very
you
cool.
much.
Jimmy, any final thoughts?
Yeah, thank you much. If you have any questions about it, definitely just talk to your consultant as well. They can give you some more feedback, or obviously get old Todd if you can. And then, but don't, even if you try it once, you're not going to know what you're missing until you go. And most of them stick around after they come the first time.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay, thank you guys again for being on the show. This is the official end of Drive Facebook Live for this week, and we will see everybody again next Friday. See you guys.